Hello Chipsters, it's Gav. Welcome to another one of my videos. Hang on a second while my chair slides back across the room. It's just an update on my Prussians 1806 project. So these are 18mm metal figures and they're for my own collection. I'm building up a Prussian army for 1806, or parts of a Prussian army for 1806. Some Saxons and probably some French at some stage. So more or less it's for that. It's centred around the Prussians, but it's like the 1806 campaign. So that's my officer. I've gone up with a slightly lighter blue trousers I'd seen in my book. I'm using the Histoire Collections Jena Austadt book for my references. As I say, there's lots of, as there always is with Napoleonics, you know, people say, oh, that's wrong, or this is wrong. One of the comments a nice gentleman put down, and I don't mean that facetiously, had said they'd removed the lace from the hats and the jackets and stuff. I've given my officers silver lace still. He said by about 1802, 1803, something like that, and this is 1806. But I'm going what my book says, Histoire Collections. I may well do one of the units in a, as he was quoting from a 1906 book, and I don't mean that in any disrespect. I'm just saying he'd said that they'd got none of this lace and that on. Bearing in mind though that this particular is the regimental lace for this regiment on the outside of the front of the jacket, which name escapes me at the moment as usual, just when I need it. Let's see if we're going any closer really. They always look, every time I take photographs of my 18mm, my smaller figures, because I go in closer, it explodes them that much that the painting looks blooming awful. So I've been trying to keep them a bit more longer distance this time. But yeah, I've kept my lace on. It's just sod's law that I ended up picking the first regiment to do. Just happened to have lace, and made it harder for myself anyway. That I had lace around the front, and they usually carry two pieces of lace on the cuffs. Most of the other regiments were actually, or a lot of the other regiments were actually plain. As I say, red tails on these, and then the cuffs and the front and the collar were in like a regimental colour, which was like a brickish red, I believe, for these guys. I say believe, I've painted nearly the entire unit, so hopefully they are. Mounted officer. Again, I've gone on with a full lace. I just thought, well, that's what I'm going with. I say I may well put in a couple of units that are, and these aren't completely finished. You can see his sword knot still has to have its silver on. It's just got black on at the moment. And I've stuffed up the drum hoops on these, which need altering. But yeah, I'm really enjoying these. This is the only infantry unit I've got so far for the collection. The next year I bought 3 units, 2 cavalry and 1 infantry. So as you can guess, it's a cavalry unit that I'll start work on in a month or a few weeks' time. Another sergeant. As I say, I have thought of a way of soldering these on. Another comment was put to use the broom handle, plastic broom handles. You could do, but they're a bit out of size, out of scale. But I really prefer the metal on there, and I'm going to go down the soldering route, if only just to get better on that. He's got his staff of office there, or rank. So I'm really liking it. It's a nice little. I only do them as and when. As I say, I always keep some on my desk, and I usually do 8 at a time and just plug away. Hang on, let's count, Gav. 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 8. Thank you. One last, like company musketeer. Just gave him grey hair. I'll try and mix the hair up and that again, just visually. I did try putting some little studs in his boots. That'll probably never be seen again. I'm happy with my flesh at last on this scale of figure. I've got my recipe now. So I still haven't wrote it down, but I do enough of them I should remember it. Yeah, the drum hoops you can't really see. It should be a bottom red line, and then some dog's teeth going up. And I've put dog's teeth going down on these, and it should be dog's teeth going up on a white line, which I've got. The only thing I got right was a white line. So, and there would normally be an eagle there, but I'm not even going there. Not that that you're just never going to see it with these ropes on. So I might do. I'll keep looking at it, but there's not a lot to. There's not enough to show that it's an eagle. They'll just be with the ropes, the cords in front. That tension the drum. You're not going to get to see it. But I might try. You never know. I've got enough of these to do. I do these, as I say, very slightly lighter. It's more for the scale than anything. So I'm happy with those now. I don't have a formula for the blue. I do in the sense of what paint I use, but it's just deep dark sea blue, and then it's lighted up with it's like an intense blue, they call it. And then I use something like star blue, which is an AK colour, just to do a very final highlight. So everything else is just like about 3 highlights out the same blue. I just keep adding a bit more extra blue in. Of this intense blue into the deep dark sea blue. And the base coat's dark sea blue with a bit of black in, I should say. It's only it's just for the scale. 28s you can get away with them being a lot more darker, proper dark Prussian blue. But I just think in this scale, it's all right saying, oh, that should be that colour or that should be this colour, but you've also got to get them, a bit more vivid on the table. That's why I do the faces now the way I do. I do a tiny miniature version of like almost what they call the Spanish look of figure painting. That is, not of Napoleonic Spain. To really shine up the faces, get them shouting, standing out. So yeah, I've got to go around with the drum hoops. The mounted officer needs a bit, and one of the others needs something, if not changing, cleaning up. I can't remember now. The other thing I was going to ask, it doesn't show in my book. I would imagine that should be 2 white lines on this, one either side, and maybe 2 in the middle, but I could only see 1. And when I looked at some other artworks and stuff, I could only see 1. So I've done the swallow's nest on the drummers with just 1 line, but I'm not sure if there was like 1 at the end, and 2 in the middle. But from what my book was showing me, albeit from just front and back, I could only see 1. So if anybody does know if there should be 2 white lines. And I also know swallow's nests change from regiment to regiment, and I'm just going on. I couldn't get anything for this regiment, even when I looked on other artworks and whatever. I'm always a bit dubious about watching other people's or seeing other people's painted figures, only because you don't know if they've got it right. And that's not saying the artwork's right either, but I can live with 1. I'm not overly fussed. But I'm overly fussed to get it right. But but yeah, I need to lighten that. It's a bit dark. There's a circle where they've been beating the drum in the same area. It tends to get a bit more tanned look. I think I did that because the original one was a bit light. But yeah, I've done those. And we've got the more sharpshooter guys, the light company. Completely stuffed this up in the sense of there's not a lot of lace to put on these. I'm just trying to find one that's got this one looks guy on the front with some on the front. I hadn't done the final coat of amaranth orange red, which brings it a nice brick colour. So I'm going to have to try and I'm not repainting it. I mean, it's not hardly done. I've only put the base light sky grey, and then I'm going to put a white on top of that, and then put some dots in back in the holes, and then put some metal colour in for the metal. These have got silver buttons. Well, not real silver, apart from the officers probably. But yeah, this is it. You see, with me, I will use paint that's on the palette. So if I've got other paint from other figures that matches roughly what I'm doing, doesn't even have to match 100%. As I say, I'm not too. It's entirely how people paint. Myself personally, it's like the packs. I'll do a base coat in whatever dark brown I happen to have, and then I will round it off doing the same couple of colours that usually that I do. But even if they're not 100% the same colour, it doesn't really faze me because none of the packs were the same anyway as such. Lightened up the trousers a fair bit, given a warm grey look. According to my Histoire Collections book, these were a grey trousered unit. Some have that beigey look, not beige, but you know what I mean, like a tan look trousers, and others had these like warm grey trousers. So yeah, I just know the sharp. I call them the sharpshooters, but light company, I suppose we call them. You just get the 3 poses. So, and it gives me a chance to go in and tidy up some of the lace before, well, after I've painted the white anyway. A couple of little buttons go on the outside as well with the lace. Yeah, it'd be good to do a musketeer battalion that's actually got just plain frontage with no lace. That'll be fun when I finally order me some more. So there you go. A couple of pictures at the end of the painted ones. I say they're not 100% there, but they more or less are. So I've got to redo you can hardly see the dog's teeth on the drums, and there's hardly any space to put anything in. But I do want to redress that because it says you're going to really struggle to squeeze a red line around it and then some dog's teeth on top, but we'll see. So yep, hope that was of interest to any of the guys out there that enjoy their Napoleonics, but particularly the AB 18, well, it doesn't have to be AB, but the 18mm ones. As I say, it's my preferred scale in these guys. For 28s are great, and they're obviously you can get them as a painter. You can get more into them on the painting, but I like these little fellas. I always have done. I've painted, obviously down to 6mm, but this is my preferred. If I had to pick one, these guys are my favourite. So it's not far off now. As I say, I've just got to. I'm still painting these, and like a Burke. For some reason, I didn't do the other colour bearer. Now the problem I've got is I don't have 2 colour bearers, so I will. This is obviously another NCO, so you can see the difference in his proper done pike by Anthony Barton, the sculptor, and mine. That's what it should look like. But I found that great sticking that on, but I couldn't bend the single cross piece into anything like that, and so it will get these won't be readdressed. These were always a test unit for soldering and stuff, and how I wanted to paint the faces and that. So, but we will get to this. I'm determined to get the next foot regiment will, and they won't be perfect still, but by about the 4th regiment we might actually have something that roughly looks like this. But yeah, after all that, I'm cutting that off. Well, I'll be replacing it with wire anyway, so I'll be cutting that out. Usually have to hack a piece out here, fit a piece of wire that's been pre-flattened out, and so I've got my 2 colour bearers. So we'll come to a screeching halt because I've got to get this guy done in the next day or 2. Otherwise we will be really in a screeching halt, because it'll take me time to obviously get this one done, get him primered, and then get him all painted all in one go. And it'll take me as long to paint him in one, rather than doing the 8. So yeah, but we've got to have our 2 colour bearers on the base. I don't know how I was stuffed up really. I think I'd read it that they got 1 colour per battalion, and for some reason I didn't click that they'd actually got 2. So I'm putting 2 on, whether they got 2 or not. Right, very confused you all. So yeah, I've got after this one, I've got a regiment of dragoons to do, and then I will have to reinvest. Hopefully, I'll have had some more money by then. I'll just spent a big chunk of me Christmas and birthday money. So, but I have got a I have got a plan to get, and I think the next one I'll do is be a couple of infantry units. I've got a few spare. I will keep building up the odd spares, spare drummers, spare officers. I usually order an extra few of those. But before that, though, I've got another unit of cavalry, as I say, a unit of dragoons to do. So they'll take me probably a couple of months at the speed I do things. So with everything else that I do, so it'll be a couple of months before I make another order. And it'll either be 2 regiments of infantry or 3. But I probably will. I need at least 2 musketeer units. The problem I've got is I was originally going to make them from certain historical, and I still might have to, but the problem units obviously of in divisions and that. The problem I've got is with the GMB colours that I buy, they're done, I believe, if I remember rightly, in like numbers, like these, aren't these the 23rd I've said to you guys? So like say, if we might say 23, 24, 25, 26, which means I'd have to buy their whole range, because it's such a mishmash of units that go into a particular division or brigade. I'd have to buy a whole you know, £4 or £5 a sheet of colours. It cost me a fortune just to get ones for an historic unit. So I tend to do stuff for myself anyway, so I'm happy with just building up units, and then I'll use an historical commander, but he'll be commanding probably a division he never commanded, made up of regiments that probably were never serving together, but you know, hey ho, that's just how it is. As I say, I'm not spending 40, 50 quid on a whole bunch of colours. I just ain't got that type of money to not to spend just on colours. So anyway, I hope that was as I say, anybody that's enjoying the Napoleonics or the 18 mils. I hope that was something nice to watch. Coming up, I've got the 28 mil. I say coming up; they're not here yet. But as I say, I've ordered some 28s to paint and sell some German. Only I've not gone for a full unit like I did with the British. I've got some Panzerschreck, I believe an MG, so a packet of Panzerschrecks, that's 4 figures. 4 figures, I believe, was the MG 42s. Can't even remember now. And and 4 Americans in a bag with bazookas. So I'll be painting those. I'll be putting them on 20 mil bases. I've decided, not the 30 that I normally do, because it's more. I think 20 mils are the more people game with 20 mil bases. I just like the 30s for the cinematic effect. I like stuffing loads on the bases, but I've got to sell them all as well. So yeah, we'll be having a look at those when they come. I don't think we're going to have to worry about them too much. They're Paul Hicks's stuff, and it's Empress, so they're going to be nice. But we will have a look at those in the raw before I clean them up and get them ready for paint. But they will be painted, not at a rush, but they'll be painted fairly quick. I've got the Cuirassier 28mm periplastic Cuirassier. I'm slowly getting through the last bits on those. I did think tomorrow would be the cut-off date. Well, it turns out the cut-off date will probably be Tuesday or Wednesday next week. It's taking a bit longer than I thought. So that's that. I'm having a right game with that Model Collect chassis, the one in 72 for the group build. I'm hoping I'm going to have another go tonight. If I can't get it how I want to, then it'll go in the bin, and I'll have to use. I don't want to let Joachim and Marcus down, so I've got a standby, but it is a Flames of War 15mm wheeled vehicle rather than a full-on boxed kit. But we'll see. I might be able to turn this around yet, but I'm already starting to get negative on it. And that's not good, not for the kit or me. Yeah, but we'll have a look. If whichever way, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I haven't got any extra paint yet on HMS Avenger, but I do plan to do some of that over the weekend and get most of her painted, because she, as I say, the base colours are on, the deck colours are on, but I need to do a load of other bits and pieces of painting. I just haven't got around to it yet. I will be starting the Big Vince group build. The Big Vince in HMS Invincible build. It's just taking a bit longer because I've been doing other stuff, but it will get started. So that's it. There was something else that's completely flown by my head. Never mind. Look after yourselves, and we'll catch each other very, very soon. Oh, yes, we will. You can run, but you can't hide. Not here on YouTube. Take care of yourselves, and we'll speak soon.